What happens when you take Hong Kong action films, GTA, and throw them in a pot? You get True Crime Streets of LA. True Crime Streets of LA was developed by Luxo Flux and published by Activision, back when Activision's name was tacked on to some of the best games I've ever played. True Crime Streets of LA was a game I played a lot as a kid, but I never could quite beat it. This was my GTA, as many would call this a clone. Many probably don't remember too much outside of a few things. True Crime Streets of LA was released on November 3rd, 2003, and it was released on Xbox, PS2, GameCube. It received the PC version later on with additional features, which would include skins from other Activision games and an online component. The game was even ported over to mobile. True Crime Streets of LA went on to sell over 3 million copies. I originally played the game almost 22 years ago, and I never beat the game myself. As mentioned, I decided to replay this game to re-experience the story to finally beat the game I remember running aimlessly around in. I'm gonna simply break down the story, go over the events, some of the things that you experience in the game, and hopefully you guys enjoy. True Crime Streets of LA follows Nicholas King, who is portrayed by Russell Wong.
Maybe I was right. Nobody knows what happened to Henry all those years ago, but whatever it was, he didn't deserve it. Well, I ain't walking the beat no more. It's all new kids today protecting the fools from the wise guys, the crooks from the psychopaths. Henry's oldest son, Nick, of all people, is one of those kids. I hear he's a hell of a cop, but will he live to see the sunset? I don't know. And there are times I just want to tell Nick, give it up, kid, go be a lawyer or a doctor or something, but it ain't my place. Besides, it would be a disservice to his old man. See, there are unanswered questions here, and I know that one day someone will get to the truth. What happened to Henry was a true crime, and if there's one man who deserves to find out the truth, it's his son, Nicholas Kang Wilson. This is his story.
The narrator is George, and he's voiced by Christopher Walken. He points out there is a mystery with Nick's father, and it's a true crime. Kind of a cool way to insert the name of the game directly into the narrative. The first plot point for the game is Nick needs to find out what really happened with his father. This game offers up multiple types of gameplay. However, the main types of gameplay you will experience will be exploration, fighting, shooting, sneaking, driving, and racing missions. These appear frequently throughout the game, some a little more than others, but overall you will be experiencing these types. True Crime also breaks his story up into different episodes with missions. Some episodes lead to different paths, and with this game has 3 different path lines that you can follow: a bad ending, an average ending, and a good ending. Aiming to achieve 100% requires you to beat all paths, but only one path line is the true plot, and that is the good ending. The story starts off with Nick, who returns from suspension for excessive force. Nick is a very cocky guy, and he doesn't follow the rules. He simply gets the job done. This is thrown in our faces throughout the game as Nick goes into the shooting range to practice his skills. George, the older gentleman at the counter at the shooting range, tries to push Nick to accept the new opportunity. The game has you practice shooting. The shooting in this game is a little wonky. It's not really great. At times it can be awkward, at other times it's pretty decent. Nick uses dual pistols, and this is how you're going to utilize his shooting skills throughout the game. During the shooting segments and general gameplay, Nick will have a health bar, and next to it he's going to have a icon with bullets. This represents how many bullets are in the chambers at the time before you have to reload. At the bottom of the screen, we have a yin-yang symbol and a bash. The yin-yang symbol represents the karma system, with green representing good and red representing bad. The higher this is, the better. The badge also acts as a currency. You receive points, and once it adds up to 100, you get a badge. If you want to do various minigame activities, heal Nick, repair cards, you need shield points. Upgrade facilities also require a badge to enter. As you play through the game, you'll build up badge points. It serves little to no point to solve any of the street crimes that you get alerted to because they don't actually earn you the most amount of points. They're a complete waste and shouldn't have been included in the game. Now, after Nick finishes his practice, the chief, who is voiced by CCH Pounder, Nick is annoyed that George told her of his location. The chief really wants Nick to join this new jurisdiction. The chief gives him a rundown of what's been happening in Chinatown, as a series of bombings have been happening at mom and pop shops. It's the work of the triad, but nobody wants to touch it. But the chief wants Nick to look into it because Nick gets the job done, and she offers him a position at the EOD. The EOD is a special unit with jurisdiction of all of Los Angeles. Nick accepts the badge, but under one condition, that he gets to do things his way. The chief has a lot of faith in Nick, a little too much faith, and I do wish there was more backstory on his position as a cop prior to the EOD to give us more faith as to why the chief trusts him so much. Anyways, the chief tells Nick he has to meet her down at the office, so now Nick has to race to the chief's office. This introduces racing and driving missions. During these sections, you will be given a time limit and you have to get to the destination in time before time runs out. If you don't, you have the option to repeat. Most times you'll be able to repeat a mission, but if you can't, you at times get the option to continue. But anyways, so the destination icon is present under Nick's health, representing how close he is to the destination, with the lower being that he's further away and the higher being he's closer. You'll see a green beam in the sky indicating where you need to get to before the time runs out. The driving itself can be bad. The controls suck. Nick's starting car is no better. You're likely going to hit over pedestrians and result in lower karma points. It sucks, but chances are it's gonna happen. Once Nick makes it to the chief's office, he's introduced to his new partner, Rosa Velasco. She's voiced by Michelle Rodriguez, and the chief partners Nick with Rosie so she can keep an eye on him. Nick's annoyed because he thought he was gonna be able to do things his way. The chief kind of pushes the two to have lunch. Rosie's reluctant to partner up with Nick because of his reputation. Despite the case, they go down to the bistro to have a bite to eat. We're introduced to the in-between segments. In some missions, Nick has the privilege to take his time to get to the destination. You can solve crimes, drive around, do the mini games at the facilities. Mini games will include shooting, driving, martial arts that exist throughout the city. Shooting mini games will give Nick's guns upgrades, which will allow him to pretty much shoot better. The driving mini games will allow Nick to get better driving skills, which will allow you to do some cool stuff in the car. And the martial arts skills will allow Nick to do different finishing moves, but in order to get the necessary points to do them, you have to just play the game. You could do the arduous task of solving crimes to build up these points so that you can do the mini games and get all the upgrades early on, but that's extremely tedious and I recommend you don't. I did a couple throughout my play session of the game, but eventually I just left it all alone and focused on the plot. Nick will make his way over to meet Rosie at the bistro. Rosie claims that she's heard stories about Nick, he's bad news, and Nick assumes Rosie's just some goody two-shoes, but then she's like, yeah, I was ex-gang affiliated. I used to run with the Latin gangs in my before the cop days. Rosie just doesn't like Nick at all, and honestly there's no good reason as to why she doesn't like him. As the two talks, a triad member is heckling the owner. Nick overhears this conversation and he starts a fight with the triad member. He throws a chopstick into the dude's ear. He starts to fight him. The main reason why he does this is because the chief told Nick, I want you to help me figure out what's been going on with the series of bombings happening in Chinatown. They went to Chinatown via the bistro, and what do you know, a a triad member comes in there heckling the owner. The first mission is Nick has to fight this guy. So during the fighting segments, you can't use guns. You can't even pull out guns even if you want to. Sometimes you can pick up weapons like knives, bats, pieces of cardboard, whatever to rely on in the fight, but you have to use Nick's fighting skills. Nick can make use of punches, kicks, high kicks during fights. When you stun the opponent, you can perform special moves or grabbles to aid you in battle. Fights can vary in difficulty and they will be happening so much that you better get good at them. Some fights will require you to have perfect execution, near perfect execution, while others are going to be more forgiving, and this is one of the more forgiving fights in the game. Some brawls will have Nick fighting several enemies at once, while others will have him fighting one or two people, and usually they will back off and let you fight them one at a time. This fight mostly serves as a tutorial for the player. Now, after the fight finishes, Nick makes a joke.
What's that? I can't hear you. Oh, you can't hear me either.
These one-liners exist all throughout the game. And the triad member runs out of the building. Nick says something to Rosie that gets her riled up. As she leaves, she gets caught briefly by the guy, who then shoots her and she gets a bullet through her. From there, he tries to escape in a getaway car with his partner, but Nick shoots the car. The guy ends up driving off, and now Nick ends up in a shootout with the triad member he just fought. The triad member that left had a chopstick in his ear, but no less than like 5 seconds, he doesn't have the chopstick in his ear anymore. Now, the shooting missions will either require you to defeat all targets or a single target. Some of these missions will have you traverse a stage, while others will be just an open area where you have to defeat all the targets. This particular mission just has you fighting against the one triad member and you have to just take him down. And this is just meant as a tutorial. Episode 1 of the game serves as an introduction to this game, and if you complete everything, you'll get a bonus episode / mission. These bonus episodes will allow Nick to go to one of 3 locations to receive a major upgrade, either for racing, combat, or shooting. If he goes for shooting, he'll get new pistols, which will have more ammo. If you go for combat, he'll get a new grapple, and if you go for racing, he'll get a new car. I personally recommend that you should aim for getting the better car because it will save you later on. If you go for the racing, you'll have to race other cars. For the shooting one, you have to go through an obstacle course. For the grapple, you have to fight a series of opponents, and then you fight a stronger opponent. You can only do one of these per bonus episode. There are 9 of these in total. The plot continues from Rosie being shot. She gets lucky as the chief puts her on desk duty permanently for the rest of this game, though you'll still see her in the field. Nick is relieved as he likes to work alone. Rosie instead will serve as intel, and she will periodically call Nick and inform him of details which will help him out. The chief explains the bistro owner isn't talking because she likely doesn't want to have triad issues. The driver that got away, the chief had put an APB out on his car. So in the meantime, Nick heads over to his brother's dojo, and when he enters, his brother attacks him. His brother is more so testing his skill, but the game makes it seem like Nick doesn't know who is attacking him, vice versa.
Acts before he speaks. Or is it the other way around? It won't matter after I'm done with you, Confucius. Let's rumble.
This is a relatively easy fight, and after the fight, King's brother mentioned he was testing him, and he's also launching a franchise for his dojo. So he's gonna have multiple different dojos throughout the city, and he tells Nick that, hey, you can use them 24/7 anytime you want. Now Nick receives a call for the car that the chief just put an APB out on, and it's spotted at the Red Lantern. So while brief, this won't be the last time that we see Nick's brother, as he will be involved in the plot once more. Nick has to race to the Red Lantern. If you don't get there in time, there will be an alternate set of events that can unfold. This is the first mission with an alternate scenario, and there's going to be plenty of them that take place in the game. I'm not going to go over all of them because I don't think it's important, but just know that these alternate events showcase if you can't complete a mission and you continue. Now for this, if Nick fails to get to the restaurant, the triad guy will set the restaurant on fire. Nick will pull up to the scene, but in this particular case, Nick arrives on time and he will stop Fang from attacking the barkeep. Yep, that's the triad guy's name. Fang will utilize a knife in battle and he can be a little troublesome, but again, it's the start of the game. It's an easy fight. The knife is the only troublesome thing because it can pull off additional damage. Fang will attempt to run away while Nick tends to the barkeep. Another mission proceeds as Nick must now chase down Fang and defeat him. These chase missions can start on foot, sometimes they're in cars, or sometimes the person will start on foot, run away, get in a car, and then now you have to chase them. You need to just shoot them down. If they get into a car, destroy the car. These mission types can get annoying though, but they are also the fastest to get done. You're gonna see plenty of these in this game. So after Nick captures Fang, he learns he's a part of Jimmy Foo's posse. Figuring Jimmy is a part of the bigger scheme, Nick heads over to his warehouse. The warehouse introduces sneaking missions. These missions can take a while to complete depending on how good you can get at them. Nick gets 3 tranquilizers during these missions that he can use to stun enemies. He can either perform a stun, which will grant him good karma, or he can perform a deadly attack for bad karma. The objective is to get to the ending without being seen. If Nick gets seen, he has a few moments to hide or defeat the opponent, or he fails the mission. These type of missions are great for building shield points, and you'll find you should only use the tranquilizer if you can't hit the enemy in time. Once Nick gets past all of the guys, he'll be ambushed by Jimmy's guys with guns, and this will proceed to a shooting mission. These types of missions will have you fight an onslaught of enemies. As previously mentioned, you have a area that you're in, but what I didn't mention is that for shooting missions, you will also have health packs that are in the stage to help you so that you don't die due to the lack of health. This is very useful as they exist in every single shooting mission stage / shooting mission. I didn't realize this at first, but later in my play session I realized this and this came in handy. Nick corners Jimmy, who then warns him that he was told to rough up Nick. Jimmy also warns that something big is going down. A sniper tries taking Jimmy out, but Nick dodges in time. Nick now has to fight a sniper. This mission actually took me a while to beat, I will admit. I just couldn't get the timing down to shooting before he shoots me. So I died a few times and then I finally managed to beat the sniper after several attempts. After Nick brings Jimmy to the precinct, he spills the beans. Jimmy was hired by the enforcer of Ancient Wu's triad, Big Chong. We get some cheeky banter here.
Hey Rosie, say hello to the poster child against inbreeding, Jimmy Fu.
And I suppose that would make you the poster child for anger management?
Nick was just doing his job, Rosie. Get on with it.
And Rosie comments that Ancient Wu is a urban legend. The chief wants Nick to get Big Chong. Thanks to Jimmy, Nick got his address and he heads on over. Now we learned a bit about Nick's past while George talks with Rosie, as Rosie's been kind of a hard ass on Nick.
Why the long face, kiddo? Let me guess. You got yourself a new partner?
I don't mean any disrespect, but why Nick? The guy's nuts.
But he gets the job done, Rosie. Yeah, he's a bit rough around the edges, but growing up as an orphan would screw with anybody's head.
Come on, everyone's had it tough. So what?
Nah, not like Nick. First, his mother died. She was a dear soul. Then, his father, Henry, got fingered in a drug trafficking scandal and simply disappeared.
I've heard about this. Henry Wilson, right? No wonder trouble runs in the family.
Trouble? Nick's father was the best cop this city's ever had. And a dear friend of mine to boot. Internal affairs said Henry skipped town, but I never believed it, not for a second. Nick was heartbroken when his father vanished.
Well, it had to be rough on a kid. I give you that, but...
Hey, number 2. I'm on Chung like white on rice.
I'm not your goddamn sidekick, Kang. Just try not to shoot yourself in the foot, okay?
Now, that wasn't too hard, was it?
Don't push it.
Nick's at the address and he sees Chong's limo pull off and he decides to tail the limo. Now we have another type of mission. These driving missions are known as the tailing missions. These tailing missions are unique as they require you to tail a car, but you can't get too close and you can't fall far behind. An icon with a car and a bar representing how close or far you are will appear. Now, depending on cars getting in the way, these missions can take a while. I had one later in the game take such a long time because cars were in the way. Tailing will bring Nick to Cypress Holding. Cypress Holding is where Big Chong pulls up at. He sees goons taking a bunch of loot. He calls Rosie to cross-check Cypress Holding before being ambushed by some men. Now Nick has to get away from these men. These getaway missions are yet another driving type of mission, and they can be very hard at first. The enemy's firepower seems to be amplified. They all got automatics and they will spray your car and destroy it in a short time frame. Enemy cars are also hypercharged and they can catch up to you relatively fast. But here's the thing, there's a trick. These missions are designed terribly, and that's because the enemy cars can only drive on regular roads. They can't go into parking lots, they can't go on non-roads. If you go into a parking lot or a path in between buildings and just shoot down the enemy cars and then drive off, that's going to be the fastest way that you can complete this mission. After Nick gets away, Rosie informs Nick that Cypress Holding is linked to the Russian mob. She informs him that Chong's limo is at Kairim's spa in Hollywood. The game refers to this simply as the Russian spa. Nick heads over to the Russian spa.
You have the right to soak in your own urine.
He has to sneak into the spa similar to the warehouse. I actually failed this mission. Now once Nick gets to the end, he'll enter the locker room and he'll encounter some Russian men. They'll be in towels. Of course, Nick has to make a joke about it.
I was just looking to get a shiatsu, but on second thought, I think I'll pass.
Too late for that, comrade.
Well, just hold on to your towels, okay?
These three won't attack all at once, and instead they will allow you to attack each other one at a time. And then once the three, a fourth enemy will come out of the stall ready to fight, and he'll be a little more difficult to fight. But if you've been practicing your brawling skills, these fights are gonna soon feel like a cakewalk, with the occasional one being annoying. Now after Nick defeats them all, he stumbles upon Chong speaking to a man named Rocky. Rocky is voiced by Gary Oldman. The two are talking and Rocky complains that the money isn't being laundered fast enough, and Chong complains that Ancient Wu isn't happy. Rocky comments that the general is in town and it's not good for anyone. Nick takes a picture of them and he also learns of the general and Ancient Wu. That's going to be important for the rest of the game. Nick interrupts the two after hearing enough. Surprised, Rocky escapes and his men take on Nick. Proceeds to another shootout. Enemies coming out different doors, and the camera isn't the best in this area. Eventually Chong will come out and Chong will have a bit more firepower. Once Nick kills Chong, this actually opens up two branching paths. So we're actually going to explore the bad path first, then go back on the good path, then deviate later on. For the bad ending path, after Nick busts the spa up and takes down Chong, he comes back to the precinct and he's introduced to Agent Masterson.
What's going on, Chief?
Nick, this is Agent in Charge Masterson. The FBI.
Your reputation precedes you, Kang. You're a real loose cannon, and if it were up to me, you wouldn't carry a badge.
Man, who peed in your coffee?
Look, smartass, you completely blew out surveillance of the spa. The bad guys are probably in Tijuana by now.
Maybe not. In the last 2 days, there have been 4 bank heists around LA targeting Cypress deposit boxes. It looks like they're after cash. Lots of cash.
Whoa. Cypress Holdings is a suspected front for the Russian mob. Now, who could be after Ivan's money?
Let me check it out.
Are you kidding me, Kang? You done enough damage already.
Masterson, we got a deal, remember?
Damn it. You screw up this time, Kang, and I'll have your badge, capiche?
Sounds like a line from a bad video game.
Nick.
Masterson is also voiced by Gary Oldman, and he's a complete prick. You're not gonna like this guy. He's annoying. He's annoying. It's like his image will be burned into your head. You won't like him just because. So Rosie gives Nick more details when he's in his car. The heist is being done by two women. Rosie has detail on one of the girls, a stripper named Gypsy. She works at Body Fantastique, and the second lead states that they saw this woman, or they believe they saw her on TV. Nick chooses the stripper lead, which Rosie calls him a perv for choosing the stripper. During this episode, Nick actually changes his outfit. At certain points throughout the game, Nick will have an alternate outfit on. He kind of wears like a suit-esque type of outfit with a white t-shirt. And I should also mention this because it's coming up. Several stripper enemies and NPCs in this game are sexualized a little too much. In some situations, these characters are shown moaning when Nick defeats them in battle or he stomps on them. Nick arrives at the strip club. He is shown getting a lap dance from Gypsy. He mentions bank heist, which prompts Gypsy to kick him. This leads into a fight with the whole strip club. At times, the missions, especially the fighting ones, can get kind of tedious, and they can also be challenging. This particular mission, you're not given any health packs, as they never appear on fighting missions like this, and often you need to execute the fight so well to avoid enough damage so you can pass. Now, as mentioned, the strippers are also rather sexualized in this game, and sometimes when you fight them and hit them, they moan. So after Nick beats up the strippers and the manager, who comes out after all the strippers are taken out, Nick interrogates Gypsy. Gypsy informs him that she was the driver and that the real girl that he's after is Lola G's. Lola G's was an actress for the show Con Girls. Lola became a real criminal after her Hollywood gig had crashed. Nick then heads over to the spot to meet with Lola. Nick encounters Lola, and after some cheeky banter, Lola agrees to test Nick.
She threw her back out last night, so I'm filling in.
Beat it. I don't know you.
But I know you. Actually, I'm a big fan. I was real pissed when your show got canceled. It was way better than VIP. Come on, you've got no choice.
Who told you? Gypsy?
Come on. I'm only asking 20% cut.
Okay, fanboy. Fine. But first, let's see you drive.
Lola explains her client is the general, and the general tasked her with getting the cash back as he was conned by the Russians. Nick then has to race to the Beverly Center pronto. This is one of the hardest races that you will have in this game. You're driving a truck that is slow. There is an alternate events that can occur. If Nick can't beat the strippers, he will get set up as Lola's driver, and he has to race to Lola's location. Once he gets to her location, Lola will test Nick by having a race with him. You have to beat her in a lap of 5. Now after that, the normal events will play out and the cops will show up. Nick has to lose the cops. Similar to other escape missions, this mission will be difficult because you're in a truck and it's slower. But you can do that tactic where you find a parking lot and just shoot at the cars and then drive away. Now, Nick calls Rosie to inform her about the Russians. He tells her that they're laundering money for the general. The Russians hooked up with the triad but got greedy and kept the loot. Lola was hired to get the money back, but as he's telling her all this, Lola pulls a gun on Nick, but Nick disarms her and he gets kicked in the balls for the second time. The fight with Lola is one of the more challenging fights, but if you're adept at this game, you're not gonna have any issues. Her skills are higher than all the other enemies you have fought so far, and Lola has this flip attack that caught me off guard when I fought her, but after Nick manages to defeat her, goes to arrest her, but she's sniped out of nowhere. This leads directly into another mission. Nick has to fight a sniper. This is the second and only time that you'll fight the sniper. He's only fought twice in the whole game, so this fight is a bit easier as there's more distance and more time to dodge the bullet. The one thing that bothers me from a story standpoint is that if the sniper immediately kills Lola, wait, did the general just have a man shadow her in a chance she got locked up, or was the general the sniper the whole time? Nick couldn't capture the sniper as he got away. Rosie questions why the general killed Lola. Nick answers that it's to silence her because she could ID him, but we're never given a real answer. The chief is annoyed because there isn't any info on the guy, and Nick questions what details do they have on Cypress holding. Once again, we're told Cypress is used to funnel money by the Russian mob. Rosie reveals that Cypress owns a jet leasing company at the Santa Monica airport. Nick heads over to the airport to look into Cypress and get a lead. Once Nick arrives, he sees that Rocky and some other Russians were killed. Nick sees the assassins leaving the scene and gives chase. To complete this one, the best way to do it is just to shoot the tires, stop the truck, and you should be good to go. Now, once Nick stops the group, it's revealed they're not Triad members. Nick notes that they're Asian. Rosie calls Nick, telling him there's a hostage situation at First Equity Bank. Nick, believing it's the general's crew, rushes down to the bank.
Please, everyone, hold your applause.
And once Nick arrives, Masterson informs him a bunch of militants believed to be East Asian militants have taken over the bank. They're demanding $500 million. Nick questions why this bank, and Rosie explains all Cypress Holdings deposits were transferred there yesterday. So Masterson wants to use SWAT, but Nick decides to go in by himself. This starts the shooting mission, but Nick must get to the green arrow to complete the mission. The bank is one of the hardest missions in the game, arguably even harder than some of the other missions in the game. So the second part has Nick in a shootout in the bank lobby. After he gets inside of the bank, he has to shoot all the enemies in the lobby. There is a part where gunmen will hide behind the glass. You have to shoot the little thing that's covering it so you can shoot in there to defeat the commandos. After this part has you going through the offices as you run through the office floors so you can get to the elevator so you can get to the VIP offices. There will be health packs and you will need them. Sometimes you will see commandos who are holding up hostages. Now, if you don't care about the karma, just shoot away. I just said F it and I just started blasting and I said I don't care. Now, this area, I will admit, took me a long time, a very long time, so much so I started to use save states because I just kept dying. I realized, wait, there are health packs on the stages. Now, once Nick reaches the elevator, he will finally make it to the VIP office. In there, the general is waiting. This guy that killed the Russians, we're introduced to Han Yu Kim. He's a part of the North Korea army, and he was voiced by Makoto Iwamatsu. He tells Nick he wants his money, and he throws him onto the balcony. General Kim is arguably the hardest character in this game to fight. This particular fight is the hardest fight in the game. He isn't fun to fight. He can either counter you well or he does a lot of damage if you're not careful. I lost so many times against him as a kid, and I even lost a bunch of times here. And then eventually I got the win. The loading menus will give you some hints as to how to fight him. After a long fight, I managed to beat the general. He falls to his death, likely to prevent any information coming out, and King walks away, Masterson yelling at him that you're not walking off this case, and Nick believes that there's more to the case.
Now, I never made detective, but let me give you a piece of advice. Don't believe what you see at the movies. In all my years here, I ain't never seen a case where it all clicked together as kosher as a Hollywood flick. Now, the ugly truth is, at the end of the day, you go home and wonder about all those loose ends, even as you sit on the crapper trying to read the Times, or maybe you're trying to smooch some babe after a nice dinner. But you find yourself fretting over a pinky found at a crime scene 3 years ago, and you can't help thinking, shit, who belonged to that frigging pinky? Yeah, being a detective is a real bummer, but you do it anyway. You get up in the morning, you try again, hoping that next time, you get it right. And you know what? You just might. Then again, you might just screw it up again.
Nick learns absolutely nothing in regards to his father, as that was indicated by what his goal was throughout the game, and we don't know what the true goals of Rocky, the Triad, the General, none of those guys were. We return back to the events of after Nick kills Chong in episode 3. Nick encounters Masterson, who works for the FBI.
Hey, Chief. Who's the suit?
Nick, this is Agent in Charge Masterson from the FBI. Seems that they had the spa under surveillance when you,
When you pulled your John Wayne stunt and blew it all to hell. We've been working on this for weeks, Kang.
Sorry, sitting around stuffy vans eating donuts cramps my style. You want this, Rocky? Let me show this around and see if I get any takers.
You telling me you know someone who can ID this guy?
Maybe. An arms dealer out in Venice Beach, a real piece of work. Done business with Russians for years. If there's trouble, then he's in it.
Whoa, whoa, pal. I'm running this up now, and you don't so much as take a leak unless I say so.
Speaking of which, Masterson, your fly's open.
Oh, shit.
Masterson, we agreed to let Nick do his thing. You know he's our best bet.
Damn. Don't make me regret this, Kang.
Why does everyone keep saying that?
So Nick heads over to Discount Tire, and the story flashes over to the chief and Rosie talking.
Was that why Nick changed his name from Wilson to Kang? His father?
When his dad disappeared, Nick and his little brother, Carrie, were shunted off to live with their late mother's relatives in Hong Kong. The Kangs were poor, and being half Chinese, the kids were hassled all the time. I think he wanted to fit in, but it didn't help much.
Why come back to LA?
To be a cop like his dad? Maybe to find out what really happened? He was born here. I don't know, but I know he loves this city.
Yeah, he sure loves busting it up.
Yeah, Nick doesn't mess around. But I think being on suspension taught him a lesson or two in subtlety.
The story moves back over to Nick as he's beating up Francis. Francis is the man Nick was speaking about that can give him details on Rocky. Nick gets into a fight with the bikers in the shop who stop him from beating up Francis. In these type of fights, you can actually make use of the objects in the environment. You can take advantage of them and cause additional damage. There's a car in the middle of the stage. You can hit the enemy onto it so they can get extra hit, but Nick can also take damage from this, so of course be careful. Eventually he beats all the bikers, and then after that he leaves and he sees Francis running away. Francis gets into his car and Nick has to chase him down, and a standard chase mission proceeds. Simply Nick has to destroy his car and that's it. After a certain point, a lot of these missions aren't really difficult and you're just playing them, you're going through the motions. Unique mission structures aren't present after a certain point. Francis spills the details on Rocky. Rocky is a badass from what he's heard, and he gives Nick Rocky's whereabouts at the Gulag Club. Gulag Club is a dance club and Nick heads on over. Nick now changed his costume, so this location will be revisited several times in this game. It feels tedious. While Nick is scouting the area, he notices a Hollywood PD. This guy will be important later on to the plot. Nick heads towards the alleyway so he can sneak into the club. During this sneak mission, there's what I assume cash on the ground, likely meant to generate noise. You simply just make your way to the exit. Nick walks into the club, but the bouncers proceed to start shooting at him. A shootout commences. Shootout will earn you about 10 points per enemy killed. If you perform neutralizing shots during these shootouts, you'll get 15 points and earn 1 good karma point. Now, if you're aiming to grind out your shield points, shooting missions like this will be the best place to do so. More enemies means more points means more shields. After Nick finishes the shootout, he approaches Rocky. Rocky's just chilling in the corner. It's like, you weren't in the shootout. What gives?
You see this bill, detective? It's a perfect dupe.
Is it? So, you've got the triad laundering counterfeit for you. Teamwork, how nice.
Problem is, you keep turning up like a bad $2 bill, Detective King.
Hey, I'd hope I'd be worth more than that.
Question is, what's your brother worth? Here, have a listen.
Oh! My brother's a cop, you creep! Oh! Stop busting my plate! No! Nick, help!
You want your brother to stay alive, Detective? Go back
back into retirement.
Now, I previously mentioned that we were going to see Carrie again in the plot, and this is where he comes up again. Rocky knows more about Nick than he lets on, and this might have something to do with the Hollywood PD Nick saw earlier. I also question why Rocky didn't just kill Nick right there. Nick must race to his brother's dojo before it's too late. The dojo is on the other side of town, and getting there in time can prove to be a challenge. Nick arrives and some dudes are horsing around in the dojo.
Hey, who the hell are you punks? Where's my brother? Oh, you missed it, dude. Some Oriental guys took him. There was this great fight in here, man. It was total Jackie Chan. It was awesome. Listen, scumbag. You tell me who took my brother now.
Who cares, dude? They left the place wide open, you know, for your guns fighting.
You've picked the wrong party to crash, jackass.
Jump him, dude.
The one dude that he kicks is holding a katana. The katana can do a little bit more damage. There are some weapons that Nick can pick up, but aside from that, it's a relatively easy fight. Nick spots the Hollywood cop from the gulag after leaving his brother's place, suspecting that he knows something. He tails him to get answers. He follows him to what is believed to be a crack house. The bum fights in this next part is some of the most annoying fights that Nick will ever encounter in this game. But yeah, it's not the hardest. You have two fights that proceed. The first two bums Nick fights aren't bad, but they have weapons. After these two are taken down, another bum comes out. This fight ends up being very annoying. I almost died fighting against this chick. I believe there are weapons that you could pick up in the area, and there's also a fire pit that you can make use of. Nick rushes out of the house only to find a note on his car to meet the Hollywood PD at Wally's diner. Nick arrives at the diner and the detective introduces himself.
This better be good.
The name is Don Rafferty. You may not remember me, but I worked undercover jobs with your dad.
I thought you looked familiar.
Yeah, I remember you and Carrie driving your dad nuts with your green Hornet stick. Those were some good days.
Cut the sentimental crap. What's your part in all this?
Your father. When he got into trouble with internal affairs, I promised him I'd watch out for his boys. Nick, I know about this case. It's way over your head.
You're a little late, Don. Carrie might already be in trouble.
Not if you hurry. Wu's men are holding him in Chinatown at the Peking Duck.
I want to hear how you know that, Don. After I find Carrie.
Don Rafferty was voiced by Michael Soren Madsen. The reason Rocky knew about Nick and Carrie is because Rafferty knew the two from when they were kids. However, he doesn't tell Nick this. Nick wants answers, but first he has to go save his brother. Nick now has to race to the restaurant in order to save his brother. Nick pulls up to the place.
Where's my brother, creep? He here! Feel him! If Carrie's hurt, I'll fillet you bastards one by one.
The triad butchers can be difficult due to the weapons. There are two members that first appear. After Nick takes them down, then three more show up with weapons, and then afterwards one last member who comes out. He doesn't have any weapons, but if you took a bunch of damage, this last fight will be very challenging. Nick goes into the back after beating these guys. He now has to shoot his way through the triad butchers. This mission isn't difficult, but it's another shootout mission. Nick has to make his way to the back so he can save his brother. You can still be killed in this mission. Luckily, there are health packs in the area that you can use to refuel, but once Nick reaches his brother, he puts him into one of the cars and he hightails it out of there. The triad goons are on his back. I actually failed this the first time as I was trying to get away, but then the second time I shot their tires and I got away. This episode will create two branches in the story. We'll proceed over to the average ending. Nick is unable to save his brother in time.
Carrie, I could have stopped this.
Nick, my God. Who did this?
That bastard Rocky. He had Wu's thugs kill my little brother.
Nick, come back to HQ with me and let Masterson handle this. Please.
No. This time it's personal. They're gonna pay.
Nick, don't do this.
Nick races down to the gulag only for Rocky to get into his limo and drive off. Nick will pursue the car and shoot it up. When he corners Rocky, Rocky mentions he's a coward just like his old man.
I did, coward. Just like your old man.
What? How did you... Ah!
You want Rocky? You go through me.
Fine. Say your prayers.
The bodyguard's named Misha, and he packs quite a punch. Well, not really. Nick makes light work of him, and Nick gets Rocky's location out of the bodyguard.
Rocky went to see ancient Wu.
How nice. Where?
Pagoda restaurant.
That was for Carrie.
Nick drives over.
Hello, how can I help you?
Table for two. Wu and I have business to discuss.
Excuse me, sir?
You heard me.
Sorry, sir. This restaurant is reservations only.
How's this for a reservation? Kill him!
Nick gets into a shootout with Wu's crew. He has to get himself to the back of the restaurant. Nick will yell for Wu to come out.
Got a beef with me, Wu? Well, here I am. My brother had nothing to do with this. Nothing.
Nick, I did not kill him. My men did. It was an accident.
Bullshit. I know you're in with Rocky. You're probably hiding him here right now.
Wrong again, Nicholas. I would have never agreed to work with the Russians if it weren't for Charles. Now, regretfully, I have to honor my commitment.
Honor? You're pathetic. Give up Rocky now.
You will find what you are looking for where the steel bird's nest at the west end of the city.
We'll see. But first, you pay for Carrie. What the hell?
So Nick leaves and heads towards the airport.
Quick, you lazy bastards. Rocky will make pierogies out of every one of you if something happens to this counterfeit.
Rat, you scum.
What the hell?
What's happening? Smarty, the cop taking the door! Stop him!
Nick has to escape the Russians. You're gonna have the same problem with a lot of the escape missions with a slow car. So you drive down the road into a parking lot, shoot the cars, then drive off. After Nick gets away, he takes Rafferty back to the bum house, handcuffs him to the stove, and Rafferty reveals he's a crooked cop.
Yeah, so I'm crooked. Doesn't change the fact that I tried to help you. Your brother's dead because you wouldn't listen. I warned you.
The hell you did? Who's that? Pick it up.
Detective, you got something that belongs to me.
What? Your bitch Rafferty?
The money truck, you asshole. Don't test my patience.
Or what?
How about I tell you what really happened to your father?
What do you know about it?
Everything. Meet me in my private club. Right now. No cops, just you. Raf will tell you where it is. Don't be late.
It's showtime, jerk off. Bring the money truck to the impound, then make yourself scarce. If I so much as see your shadow when I crash Rocky's party, you'll be scrubbing each other's backs in San Quentin. Now where's his club?
So Nick races to Rocky's lair, Rocky's mansion, Rocky's party, whatever they want to call it. So once he enters, it's yet another sneak-in mission. Rocky is a very depraved person.
Better find the sick bastard before he finds me.
You can see men in bondage being whipped, tortured, and it took me 2 attempts to get through this mansion. So you can actually see some imagery on the wall. I probably can't show it because, well, you know, YouTube. But there is some very interesting imagery on the walls. There's statues that are half naked, things of that nature. I mentioned this earlier and I'm mentioning it again, but stripper enemies or sexual enemies, they're depicted in a very interesting way. Once Nick gets to where he needs to go, he'll encounter Rocky.
That wasabi nearly blew my head off.
How about I finish the job?
Ah, detective. I figured you wouldn't ring the bell.
Good!
Meow.
Easy now, kitty.
Enjoy the cat fight, detective.
So Nick has to make his way through the first 3 women, then he'll have 6 men in bondage come out to fight him. Now after Nick fights off the freaks, Rocky reveals he has collateral damage.
Keep playing your bullshit games, Rocky, and you'll never see your money.
Oh, yes, I will. Z.
I have collateral.
Rosie!
Don't be stupid, Kang. You wanna see her killed too?
No. Don't you lay a finger on her. I'll get your money.
Bring the truck. Chinatown Plaza. No.
See you soon, detective.
At what point did Rocky capture Rosie is very uncertain, because Rosie's supposed to be on desk duty, so she's never in the field. Except for that one time when Nick's brother died and she was there, and then Nick drove off. Maybe during that time frame she got captured. Nick has to grab the money truck and bring it to the Chinatown Plaza. So he heads for the money truck, but of course Masterson the dickhead tries stopping him.
Shit. Hold it right there. Where do you think you're going with that? And where is Velasco?
You've got to let me go, Masterson, or Rosie will die.
What? Kang, step out of the vehicle right now!
Afraid I can't do that, pal.
After him!
Nick has to get away with the truck. Again, like all the missions with slow ass cars, you have to get away from faster cars. So the trick is to either somehow outmaneuver them or shoot up their tires and get away. It took me a while to actually get away, but I did manage to do so. So Nick will arrive in Chinatown.
Where the hell is Wu's crew?
Never trust a Chinaman.
Well, you can say that again. Shit, it's here. All right, release her.
Are you okay, Rosie?
Come on, Nick, let's get out of here.
Go on ahead. Call backup. I ain't done here yet.
Nick, for once.
Just step away from the truck, Kang. No funny business. Boss.
Who's that? SWAT?
Afraid not. Go, Rosie, run!
What? Kang, you're dead.
Looks like we both are. Holy shit!
So the shootout actually takes a while, and this is one of the harder shootouts, but there's still health packs around. You can pick up some of the weapons. It's actually pretty cool. I do wish that this game was ever remade, bro. That would be one of the missions I would look forward to playing.
Now who is this guy? Why do I get the feeling...
You will pay for this with your life, Ken. Just like your old man.
Did you kill him? Just say it!
Well, let's see if you can take me. Maybe I tell you.
Nick must fight Rocky. Rocky is one of the hardest fights in the game. You fought against the general. That fight earlier is the hardest fight in the game. This fight, believe it or not, is the second to third hardest fight in the game, depending on how you look at it. For me, it's the third hardest in the game. This fight is somehow easier than the fight with the general that you'll have again in the true ending. Rocky uses a stun that can render Nick immobile briefly. There are weapons on the ground that Nick can pick up that can aid him in the fight. Once through a hard, challenging fight, Nick brings Rocky down.
Looks like you win, detective.
I'm used to it. Now, what about my father?
Time to join your father, detective.
Rosie? Shit, you killed him!
Oops, must have slipped.
Damn it. What did you know, you bastard?
And Nick and Rosie leave before Masterson show up. The narrator once again says that there's more to the story.
Now, I never made detective, but let me give you a piece of advice. Don't believe what you see at the movies. In all my years here, I ain't never seen a case where it all clicked together as kosher as a Hollywood flick.
Nick learns a bit about a connection between his father and Rocky, but he doesn't find out the truth, only that there's an implication that Rocky might have killed his father. So then we return back to the events after Nick saves his brother from the triad.
Are you kidding, Kang? What do you mean Rocky got away? Where were you anyway?
Went out to dinner with my brother. Barbecue ribs.
Cut the crap, Masterson. I can't believe you knew it was a counterfeit laundering scam all along. How dare you keep this from us?
Oh, come on, Chief. This case is a matter of national security. We've got millions of fake $20 bills pouring out of L.A. So perfect even Alexander Hamilton's mother wouldn't tell the difference.
The 20's got Jackson's face on it, buddy.
Look, smartass. Uncle Sam wants to know where this counterfeit is coming from, which means bringing in Rocky. Alive. Problem is, we still have nothing but his stupid nickname.
Well, why don't we ask his partner in crime?
As in who? You've sent them all to the morgue.
Not Ancient Wu. Not yet.
Are you an idiot? Wu is urban myth, fortune cookie stuff.
Yeah, pal. So is Social Security.
Kang! Kang!
Nick.
This section of the game gets more fantasy and sci-fi like. Most people may remember playing this game and fighting zombies or a dragon. You ask anybody about True Crime Streets of LA, they may remember the dragon for sure. None of it makes sense, but this was actually my favorite part about playing this game because it was the most unique and it felt the least tedious. So Nick drives over to the Pagoda restaurant and then sneak in. So sneaking towards the back, Nick proceeds. Nick in the back comes face to face with the cooks of the restaurant.
Howdy, I'm with the county health inspectors.
Kill him!
Okay, but there goes your A rating.
He fights two waves of enemies, and then, you guessed it, a zombie comes out. A zombie. He doesn't take damage to any of Nick's attacks, and he actually needs to be hit with fire to take damage. I don't know where the devs thought this was a cool idea, but they did. They did. This is the only fight in the game that requires you to use the environment in order to cause damage. So after the fight, Nick heads down into the basement looking for Wu. Nick has to fight his way through what appears to be triad members and zombies. There is an ult to this mission which has Nick traveling through sewers if he's unable to beat the cooks. So Nick will then come face to face with Ancient Wu.
Ah, Nicholas Kang Wilson. We meet at last.
Ancient Wu, you're looking well for a cadaver.
Come on, Nicholas. I'm only 342 years old.
Well, 3 centuries of crime will do that to a man. But fear not, the end is near. Messing with my brother was the last mistake you'll ever make.
The yin has to balance the yang, Nicholas.
What the? Man, I'm getting too old for this.
Now King has to fight Wu's demons. These heads will circle around the area and they will stop to give Nick a chance to shoot them. Shooting them in the eye is going to be the fastest way to beat them, but you'll keep repeating this process until eventually the final demon head will come out. Shooting its 3 eyes will be the fastest to kill it.
Let's get to business, Wrinklebag. Why team up with the Ruskies?
Lao Tzu said, if you do not know the plans of your competitors, you cannot make informed alliances.
Yeah, and you have to know the competitors' plans before you can crush them.
That is what Big Chong had convinced me of in his greed. Alliances were made with the wrong people, Nicholas. The Russian has no honor, but a deal is a deal.
Too late for regrets, pal. People are getting killed. Now tell me who this Rocky is, and I may let you live.
Oh, you think you're this good, huh? Let's see about that.
Damn, why do I always have this effect on women?
Wu sends his 2 warriors to fight Nick. Wu's concubines will at times disappear during the fight. After Nick beats them down, Nick demands a Rocky so he can kill them.
Okay, where's Rocky, you dried up piece of dim sum? I've got a bullet with his name on it.
You kill Rocky, and you will never be released from your torment.
Which one? I got lots of issues, old man.
Your father's fate.
What about my father?
20 years ago, the Soviets sent one of their top KGB agents to the City of Angels. He quickly lost loyalty to Mother Russia and pursued a life of crime. Along his path, he was aided by many who could not resist easy money.
Rafferty? What? What's my father have to do with any of this? You're testing my patience, man.
Testing? Yes, I've saved the best test for last.
A literal dragging is a boss fight, and it's probably the most unique fight you will have in this whole game. I felt this should have been like a extra Easter egg, like a extra ending, but no, this is what it is. I found the easiest way to defeat the dragon was to use the precise aim while he's going up and down in the flames and shoot him to cause damage, and when he stops, shoot him some more and also dodge the flames. But once you defeat the dragon, crazy to say that, Nick learns of Rocky's origin and Rafferty connection, and now all that's left is to figure out where Nick's father fits in all of this.
You believe me now, Rosie?
Jesus, Nick. So far, everything checks out. According to the CIA, a KGB agent by the name of Rasputin Kuznetsov went AWOL out here in the late 70s. It's gotta be our Rocky,
But what?
how did you find this out? Masterson's going nuts. Hold on. Oops.
Hello, Kang. You better tell me how you got Rocky figured out right now. And don't feed me any ancient war stories, got it?
I read the Cliff Notes to War and Peace, Masterson.
You're gonna have a lot more time to read unless you get your ass back in here and start talking.
Excuse me? I ain't some rookie field agent, pal. Bust me if you're gonna. Otherwise, I'm gonna solve this case. My way.
What? That's it. Consider yourself fired, Kang.
Later, man. I got work to do.
Nick heads down to the diner Rafferty is hanging out at, knowing he's affiliated with Rocky now.
Hey, barkeep. Another Jack.
You've jacked me around enough, Rafferty.
Nick, what's going on?
You're in with that scumbag Rocky, aren't you? What did he have to do with my father? Answer me!
You have no idea what you're talking about, Nick. Get a hold of yourself. Hey! You hassling my customers, buddy?
Stay out of it, pal.
Not a chance.
Fine. I hope your insurance is paid up.
This particular fight in the dark, making it harder for you to see, but it's still an easy fight. So once Nick leaves the diner, he actually overhears Rafferty in a convo with Rocky. He tells him Nick is becoming a problem, and Nick eventually follows Rafferty to figure out where he's headed. This is the second time you will tell Rafferty in this game, but not the last. Nick sees him get into a car with what he assumes at the time is an escort.
Well, well, well. Wait till your old vice buddies hear you're paying for it. Hold it, Kang. What the hell do you want?
Sorry, man. The feds want you brought in. Come on, Kang. Just cooperate for once, will ya?
Sorry, but you make a lousy roadblock.
The feds want Nick brought in. Basically, it's Masterson. It's crazy because outside of the bad ending, it seems Masterson gets in the way of Nick all the time. It's getting out of hand. So Nick outruns the cops. Then Rosie talks with Nick, likely trying to get him to come in. Nick states his personal and he's not stopping until the case is solved. So once again, Nick must tell Rafferty for a third time. I don't know why they didn't just have Nick get chased by the cops prior to him tailing Rafferty. Then he tells him so they can keep it all in one go. Nick follows him to a warehouse. Now Nick has to sneak into the warehouse. This particular mission is the last of the sneak-in missions of the game. It's not hard, but there are some traps here and there that can get you shooken up. Once Nick completes...
Rock, listen to me. We gotta lay low, at least for a while. The Wilson kid, Kang, he ain't backing off.
You're getting chicken on me, Raf. I managed to dodge the KGB, the CIA, and the LAPD for the last 3 decades, okay?
I can't stop him, Rock. He's like a pit bull. It's getting out of hand.
Listen to him, Rocky. Please.
Shut up, you whore. I'll deal with Kang just like I dealt with his father. Right, Raf?
You know I never wanted Henry killed. Not his son. Please.
Son of a bitch!
What's that? You said this place was clean.
Boss, I swear it was.
It's Kang, you simple touch! Kill him!
Rocky, you bastard! I'll bring you down!
On this particular one, Nick is going to be limited to the higher up area that he's on. That's going to limit how fast he could take down the enemies. But outside of that, this is a standard mission, shooting mission. You shouldn't have any trouble.
Damn it! You tell me where Rocky went or I'll blow your friggin' head off.
I don't know. Rocky never tell what he do.
Okay, have it your way.
Wait, okay. Maybe his girlfriend Jill. He tell her everything. She lives in Marina, in fancy condo.
Attaboy.
So Nick heads straight over. The game doesn't force you to drive there. It just starts off with you tailing Jill. Nick will follow her to the Marina diner.
Hey there, Jill, right?
You're that cop. I was hoping to talk to you.
You were? Well, so was I. What can I...
See my face? Rocky will not lay his hand on me again, ever. You promised to get that monster out of my life? I'll tell you what you need to know.
Sounds like a deal I can't refuse. Let's have it.
Rocky was gonna go back to the Gulag tonight to collect some valuables. 11 o'clock.
All right, there's still time. Consider your troubles over. Rocky's finished.
Nick has 4 minutes to rush to the Gulag. Nick fights the bodyguard once he gets there and some goons. By this point in the game, I felt that Rocky's men, it was very tedious. It's like Rocky is like the front hunter, but we never fight Rafferty. We never fight any other person that might be a force to reckon with. We just fight these no-name bums slash people who are given a name. There isn't much fun at this point anymore with these goons. Furthermore, Nick has been to this location too many times. Nick roughs up the goons and one of them opens up. He tells Nick Rocky's at the airport. The airport has been a location we've been to a few times. Nick arrives and he's attacked by Jill.
Actually, yes, Jill. The thing in your hand?
Men are so easy sometimes. Night night.
Only for Nick to wake up tied up to a chair.
Rise and shine, gang. Or is it Wilson? How about I finally solve the family mystery for you, huh? Back in the 70s, Raph and I moved enough coke to fill the San Fernando Valley. Sadly, your goody two-shoes daddy got in the way. And we tried to turn him, but he wouldn't budge. So, bang bang, off he went to the bottom of the ocean. Raph even planted their stash too, so Internal Affairs figured your pub was dirty.
Rock, please. He doesn't need to know all this.
Come on, Raph. Everybody loves a good story. Right, Kang?
Yeah, especially one with a good bang-up ending.
Right on, Kang. Only this time, it isn't a matinee at your local cineplex. It's the real shit. And guess what? The bad guys win.
Nicholas, I implore you to take revenge on those who truly deserve it.
Ancient Wu? You see this? 1 billion of the best counterfeit ever made. I hook it up, betray it, smuggled it in. Now old Wu shops launder it for me along with my shirts. While I sit back, I drink vodka. Man, I love this country. Thing is, there's a lot more laundry to be done. And I don't need a little creep like you getting in the way. Time to join your father, detective. No! Alpha! What?
Whoa. Hey, everybody. It's all under control. fellas with SWAT? I haven't seen those uniforms before. Oh shit!
Nick has to make his way out of the warehouse, and once Nick leaves, he spots Rocky attempting to get away in a jet.
Oh no, you're not getting away this time.
Nick will chase down Rocky's jet and take it down before he takes off. If Rocky takes off, he failed the mission. So once Nick stops Rocky, he is approached by the general.
Try laundering that, bitch.
Well done, Mr. Cat.
You. I've seen you before.
Hanyu Kim, General of the North Korean Army.
Let me guess. This counterfeit comes from North Korea.
Yes, my government has the same Swiss-made money presses as the U.S. Treasury. Only world governments can purchase them.
So that's why the dupes are so perfect. What happened? The World Bank turned you down for a loan?
America and its cronies think they can ruin us by economic manipulation. Ha! We will never succumb to your politics.
Hey, whatever. I'm just a cop. Just tell me one thing, though. Why the Russians? The Triad?
Shielding my country from an international faux pas detective gang. Besides, the Russians are old friends. Ex-KGB for the most part. It was a perfect fit.
Sure, until Rocky decided to keep the loop.
Yes. His morals became corrupt.
So, that's where you and your commandos come in.
Exactly. Rocky was slippery, but all I had to do was follow you. Now my mission is nearly done.
Nearly? Is there anyone left?
Just you, Cat.
So I have a theory. The sniper that Nick fights earlier in the game 2 times, that's the general. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, and the general is a part of the army. General Kim is the hardest fight in the game, but this particular fight is a bit easier. I think it's harder than a Rocky fight, but it's easier than the first Kim fight. The reason for this is the flames that the jet explosion caused. Nick can actually use this to his advantage to cause additional damage to the general. Now, if you struggle to beat the general once, twice, 3 times, whatever, I was there too. As a kid, I could never beat this guy, and eventually it was irritating. But like everybody who's persistent, we eventually beat the general.
Hope I made you proud, Dad.
Are you okay, Nick?
Yeah, doing good. Real good.
Kang! You got some serious loot!
Nice work, Nick.
Thanks, Chief. Hey, how about I buy you 2 dinner? I know this great China bistro. No? Come on! What do you say?
Not bad, my friend. Not bad at all. I always knew Rafferty got Henry into something too deep to crawl out of. Nick made sure he got what he deserved, along with the others. The Chinese say the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. If your chicken brain ain't getting it, I mean to say that Nick truly is his father's son. The very first time I saw that kid take down a perp, some high-class pimp with a preference for purple velvet. In that moment, I saw my old friend, and boy, it made me smile. And not just because of the guy's furry outfit. If you think Nick's got it going on now, you should have been there when he worked homicide. Why do you think he got suspended in the first place? Next time, when you have time, buy me an espresso and a raspberry ham and passion, and I'll tell you all about it, but not now. That's a story for another day.
So after this ending, we get another ending, and it's Nick Masterson dancing in what's presumed to be Rocky's club. Now, while you might think this is the end of what the game offers, there's still something else you can do. True Crime has 30 dog bones that you can collect to unlock Snoop Dogg. These bones are scattered throughout the map, but You won't see these appear on your map until you collect 1. Snoop Dogg has his own voice lines. It's pretty cool, but there is a but. First, you can only play with him for an hour at a time, and 2, he's essentially a skin with unique voice lines.
Wanna mess with a nigga like me? I'm a crazy motherfucker.
And he can only solve crimes. You can't use him to replay the story in any capacity. He doesn't have his own storyline. He doesn't have anything. He's just a skin with voice lines. As someone who played this as a kid and replaying it, I must admit this is a fun game. This game has its fair share of problems though. The controls can be weird at times. The mission structures, while fun at first, eventually start to get tedious. They don't offer up any challenges. The only true challenge that this game will offer is the fighting parts of the game, but even then that starts to get kind of tedious as you have to play it a certain way, and that's kind of boring. Now, aiming could be improved. The driving controls take some time to get used to, and the story overall, in my opinion, has some problems. The lack of the general and his role being showcased better. Masterson felt very pointless to the plot, and he only served to be an obstacle for Nick, even though he wasn't really a good obstacle. And several times the enemies could have disposed of Nick, but they chose not to. It just feels weird. True Crime Streets of LA was a game that set the stage for unique action adventure sandbox games. It wasn't a GTA clone in the way that people make it out to be. It has its own identity, and it allows it to stand on its own. It has many memorable moments despite its shortcomings, and I do wish Activision had continued Nick's story versus introducing a brand new character for its sequel. Join me for a future video as we revisit True Crime Streets of New York. If you guys enjoy videos like this, then simply hit the like button, subscribe. What do you think about True Crime Streets of LA? Did you enjoy the game, or did you not like it? Let me know. I'll catch you guys.